Assistant Communications Officer, focusing on campaigns and projects at the Royal Wolverhampton NHS Trust / Walsall Healthcare. So I kind of take a lead on campaigns such as NHS Staff Survey, behaviour framework, anything that we can kind of enhance across the organisation. I studied with the JGA group, so this was a level 4 communications apprenticeship. So although I've worked in the NHS for like 5 years, and bear in mind that was during a pandemic, so I learnt a lot more than probably what I would have in the 5 years. The apprenticeship, which I started out as an apprentice, just benefited me because I could kind of work hands-on within my role, but also learn the theory behind it. So that involved 18 months of lectures once a month and having to do like theory-based like assignments, and then at the end of it would be presentation, a Q&A and a multiple choice test. I got into my current role, I basically left school and I knew that I wanted to work in the NHS. This was like when I was like 15, 16. I set up alerts for NHS jobs and I didn't actually know what I wanted to do, it's just work in the NHS. So I stayed on for sixth form and did 1 year of A-levels, and then an apprenticeship come up. So I applied for it and I got the role, and yeah, never looked back. What things that I enjoy the most about my role is the interactions with people. Like in my role as communications, I think you need to have that people-person element. I love bringing a feel-good factor to the trust, promoting stuff, important stuff, as well as the fluffy stuff as well. I enjoy the most about my apprenticeship was having that interaction, again, people-person, with the other apprentices. So I'd learn from them what they're doing and like their assignments, and being able to talk to each other, and kind of having that element of online learning. It's all virtual, but also having that interaction with them when you needed to on a monthly basis. The apprenticeship wasn't challenging at all. I think if you find it a challenge, they will do something to help it not be a challenge, because you want it to be the most stress-free process. So I think the most thing I probably felt challenged was the start of it. There was a lot of forms to fill out, the usual admin side, making sure you've got the off-the-job hours, because that's like a legal binding contract that you have to sign. But the apprenticeship team here and also the provider will make sure everything's sorted. They're not setting you out to fail, they're setting you out to succeed. So as long as you do what they tell you and you have that kind of motivation inside of you to get the qualification, you'll be fine. The best part of my learning journey would definitely be actually finishing the apprenticeship, of course, receiving a distinction, which I was absolutely thrilled about. But I always think, as long as you pass it, like no employer will ask you what did you get in the apprenticeship. It's like what qualification did you get? So don't pressure yourself. Aim high, of course, but no, I was buzzing about that. But then also being shortlisted for a national award through the apprenticeship scheme. So if I wasn't doing that apprenticeship, I probably wouldn't have been put in for that. So that's something that I can add to my CV and kind of stand you out from the crowd, really. My manager was really supportive, and I really do think it helps if you have that conversation with your manager of like, look, they're not mind readers. You need to tell them what you need, what is required from you for this apprenticeship. So that's what my manager set out. Like, you will have one day dedicated each week where everyone will know that you're doing apprenticeship work and not to approach you unless obviously something urgent happened. You get kind of like assigned people within the apprenticeship team at wherever so mine was JGA. And I had that kind of like mentor with them, so if anything was ever wrong, I could email or call them, pick up the phone, and they're there to help. So yeah, you've always got great support around you. Now that my apprenticeship is over, I don't want to stay stagnant and not learn anything again for the rest of my life. So my next step is getting rid of that assistant in my title and becoming a communications officer. Now I've got that kind of qualification and experience. I'd also love to do the CRPR course, which is kind of like a certificate in PR and communications. Although I've got my level 4, that is the next step up. So I'll be looking to do that. And also like internal NHS courses, like leadership courses, because ultimately I would love to be like an NHS leader in years to come. So maybe start thinking about what I can do to kind of embed that now in my role. But as I mentioned previously, I'd love to go into NHS management and becoming head of communications one day somewhere. So I think in a lot of areas, as you go up the ladder, you kind of do need that experience, but also a qualification. Like I said, learning the theory behind it all. So this has gave me a recognised PR and communications qualification. So when I do go for my next position, I've got my experience, but also the qualification. If someone was considering this apprenticeship and this progression route, what would I tell them? And it would absolutely go for it. You'll never regret it. Why would you regret developing yourself? Like, you'll look back and think, yeah, it might have been a challenge at times, but this is going to help me get to where I want to be in life. So just go for it.